Yo, what's going on? It's Keith from Black Quarterback Series. As you can see, the presentation looks a little bit better. I finally got a stand to set my phone on. So you can expect this type of format going forward. Unless I'm doing a post-game reaction, and then I'll just give you. So unless it's a post-game reaction, this is the standard format of the videos. So let's get into it. Christmas Day, we got Christmas Day games. We got Sunday games, Saturday games. We had games all throughout this week. Let's get into it. Black Quarterback Series, week 15. Let's go.
Memories. And as you think about, as you move forward, it takes more than one guy. It takes more than one talent. It takes more than a couple guys. It takes unanimously everybody understanding what their role is and what you have to do. And when I look at my situation, was it ideal? And I'm talking big picture. I'm talking over the years, not today. I'm just talking. Was it ideal? No. But I think the thing that I can pride myself on is being able to say I never blinked, I never bitched, I never complained, I never pointed the finger, I never wanted it any easier than what it is. We play this game as alpha males, as lions going against each other. One lion taking over another safari or whatever, and you'll be damned, so to speak.
If you don't know me, my name's Keith. I do Black Quarterback Series. We do black quarterbacks all the time, and they're our number one priority at this channel. Just like Boyce Washington says, B1. We're B1, black all the time. But we talk about a little bit of everything. We talk about football. Like today, I'm going to have to talk about Joe Burrow. I'm going to have to talk about Carson Wentz. I just love ball. But our primary goal here is to talk black quarterbacks. And so let's get into it. So, first game, it's Christmas. It's Christmas Day. Happy belated Christmas. I don't know if that's a thing. But Merry Christmas to everybody. Hope everybody had a good, safe holiday. And get ready for those New Year's resolutions. So, first game was on Christmas. Kyler Murray was 27 for 43, 243 yards, a touchdown, 4 carries, 74 yards. And a lot of those yards was on one run that you guys it's probably either saw at the beginning or you're seeing now. So yeah. I don't normally give credit to where credit is due, but I'm going to give a shout out to Carson Wentz. He played well today. I'm not finna sit here and act like Carson Wentz didn't play well today. I'm probably the biggest Carson Wentz hater on the internet. He played well today. I can't knock him. He made the plays needed. But I will also say that it was also from Kyler Murray and that whole team's sloppy play. Like I said in my post-game reaction, which will be linked up top. They're not doing anything in the playoffs. There'll be a first-round exit. If they're going to keep playing like this, there'll be a first-round exit. Losing D-Hop was a lot more important than we initially thought it was going to be. Because they looked good with D-Hop, and now D-Hop hasn't been there. He's going to be out for the season, and now they look like they can't win a game. They started 7-0, and they are 3-5 or 3-4 since. So I have no idea what's going on with them. They got to get it together because they mess around and lose. I think they can lose the division. I think next week if they lose the division. They have to go on the road, which is not what they want to do. But I think either way, whether they win the division or they go on the road, they're going to lose in the first round. The Cardinals are a little bit ahead of schedule anyway. The receiving core is not as good as I initially thought it was because there's no reason you should struggle to get. Now, granted, the Colts defense is good, but you shouldn't struggle to put up points against them. But I will say also and I'm kind of contradicting myself as I go back and forth in my mind as I'm thinking about this game. There were a lot of mistakes, missed field goals. Let me run them down for you. The 57-yard run that Kyler had led to a touchdown. They missed the field goal. Also, a bad snap which led to a safety. Which also, there was another missed field goal, and that field goal was when it was tied at 15. So you add all those up, and I think that ends up to 7. And I think the margin of loss was 7. So even as sloppy as they played, if they'd have made the chip shots and what they needed to do, they would have won still. So with the Colts are rolling, I think they started off 0-3 and they're 7 and something since they're rolling. So, and it's gonna be interesting to see how the Colts end up, because I would not want to play the Colts going to the playoffs. So, shout out to them, and they're getting going. So we go from a sloppy injury team to a decimated injured team. I can't remember how many yards Joe Burrow threw for. We're talking about the Ravens. I can't remember how many yards Joe Burrow threw for, but it's right here. It's either pitch or it's the numbers. I know he threw for over 500 yards, and he was on a mission. He was on a mission to prove that this is their division. I don't think they'll be their division for a while, but I think between Lamar and Joe Burrow, they'll be trading the division for the next decade. I think they'll want to win one, and then who I don't think will be in Cleveland much longer. He won't be there for the next decade. Is Baker Mayfield. So I think Baker Mayfield will always be third, because he's better than Ben, obviously. But let's get to our guy, Josh Johnson. When the offense is good, other than losing all the running backs, the offense is decent. So he played okay. Like, he wasn't a world beater, but he's third-string quarterback. We wanted to do. Josh Johnson was 20 for 40. I don't know why he threw the ball so much. 304 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Like I said, what do you really want him to do? He couldn't do anything. He just got there. Team's decimated with injuries. The other guys having a party on you. I don't know. It's a tough position to put him in. So they ended up losing. I think they're 8-7 now. I hope they lose out and don't make the playoffs, because this team does not need to make the playoffs. I would hate for them to get in the playoffs and then Lamar tries to rush back and then he gets hurt anymore, and that justifies them being able to lowball him because he's injured. So I just hope that doesn't happen. I don't want that to happen for Lamar. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have for that game. But this next game, I'm almost positive I'm going to stay on for a while. And it's Seattle versus the Bears. So Nick Foles is starting. Nick Foles is starting against the Bears. And I wrote this with the assumption that Seattle was going to win. They were up 10 they were up 10 with like 5 minutes to go. I'm like, okay, they'll win. And then they chipped it down, and then the Bears end up winning. This was a major collapse. I had to go back and watch it. This was a major collapse by Seattle. They got outplayed in the fourth quarter. You would have thought that the Bears was trying to make the playoffs. It was hard as they played. So they got outplayed. This game was closer than it needed to be, but looking back on it, Seattle was not very good still. Seattle didn't do what the Eagles did, and I'll get more into that later. But Russell Wilson was 16 for 27, 181 yards. Rashard Penny had a day. He was 17 carries for 135 yards. So they had the makings of a win. They just couldn't get the touchdowns or the field goals needed at the end to keep the Bears far enough away, and the Bears just kept coming, and then eventually gave out. I'll say, Matt Nagy coached a decent game today. I still want him fired. He coached a decent game today. I can't get on him too tough about this game because he actually won. So, good game all around by the Bears. I'm surprised that they won, honestly. So if you look at Seattle, what does Seattle do next? I think Russell Wilson should demand for a trade again. I made a video about it right after the game. That link will be up. That link will be right here in the card as well. I think he should ask for a trade and leave. Somebody made a good point. He should go to the Saints. That would be a great place for him. Great place for him. I don't like the double stack quarterbacks, but that would be a great place for him. Be a guy that could use him. And who's Russell always compared to? Drew Brees. Who would know better to use the Drew Brees than Drew Brees coached for over a decade? So I think that'd be a good spot for him. But it's not looking good in Seattle. This is their first losing season under him. I don't know what's next for Seattle. I really can't tell you. Next game we have, and I spoke about it in that one, we have the Eagles. Ugly game. This game was so ugly. Not even really much to call home about. Devontae Smith made some great passes. Poor start by our guy, Jalen. You can't have an almost pick and then fumble the ball into two of the same possessions. But he ended up getting it together. He was 17 for 29, 199 yards and 2 touchdowns. It's the Giants. I expect you to beat the Giants like you beat them. I think the final score was 34-6. That's what you do against a team that's inferior to you. Now, there's no way the Eagles are gonna make the playoffs because of some numbers and metrics and all that crazy stuff. They're mathematically eliminated from winning the division. They can still make the playoffs, and with the Vikings losing, I think they'll make the playoffs, and they'll scare some teams. If they get the right matchup, because it's all gonna come down to matchups. If they get a matchup to where they can't stop the run, where this team is bad against the run, you got a good strong chance of the Eagles upsetting that team and making a deep run. So it just matters how the bracket hangs. If they can avoid the big dogs, if they can avoid the Bucks and the Green Bay, they can make some noise. But if they come up against some teams in the first or second round, it's going to be a wrap. It was good. I like to see the maturity by Jalen Hurts. He made some bad throws today. I can't defend him. He made some bad throws today, and I'm like, what are you looking at? But like I said, he's getting better. He's getting more confident with his receivers. I just want to see him make those second, third reads. That's what took Lamar's game to the next level, being able to stand in the pocket and make those second, third reads. And I think he can do it. And then you add on the athleticism that he already has, it's going to be really, really dangerous. People, y'all been saying in the comment section, oh, he's not Lamar. I believe he can be Lamar. Now, Lamar's talented, Lamar's gifted. He's not the runner Lamar is, but as far as like prototype, that's what Jalen Hurts is. He's a prototype. He's bigger than Lamar, so I feel like he can take more damage. So, as you see, I didn't talk much about the game because the game wasn't very good. So, I believe in Jalen if nobody else did. And so we have an update on Teddy Bridgewater. He's in concussion protocol. I'll put what Google told me concussion protocol was. I didn't know that this was a medical term. I thought this was a football term. So I put what Google said about it. I'll just call it a season. Your health is more important than some football game. Denver's not gonna make no big run. So if I was Teddy's better judgment, I would tell him just you're making money from Carolina. You're making money from Denver. I think you might still be making money from New Orleans. Who knows? But just sit out, bro. Just chill. Get ready for next year. You're the starter there. Denver's not gonna draft no quarterback that's worth anything. So I think you're good. But that's what I said. Another game that I'm not really going to talk too much about. I'm going to just talk about the team is the Kansas City game. My mom's fiance is a Pittsburgh fan, so it's going to be rough for him to hear. I had to hear him complain about the Pittsburgh being awful for the whole game. It was funny. But Pittsburgh wasn't very good. They was playing Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes sat the fourth quarter. This is probably the most I've ever seen teams sit their quarterbacks in the fourth quarter between Dallas and Kansas City. I've never seen quarterbacks get sat this much in 1 week. Like you see it all the time in the NBA, but you don't see it a lot in the NFL. So Patrick Mahomes was 23 for 30, 258 yards and 3 touchdowns. Not much. He did what he needed to do. The game was over relatively early. Same thing with Dallas. Our guy Dak was 28 for 39. 330 yards, 4 touchdowns, didn't play in the fourth quarter. When I say this game was over early, I was in my meeting with my brothers as this game was going on. And I'm just looking at it. I'm just looking at the score. And every time I was just so having to look over, Dallas is scoring. So that game wasn't much of nothing either. So we have one more guy that we haven't talked about. And I'm also, this week is a not talk about games. Before I get to that, let's go to Kansas. Let's dial back 2 notches and go back to Kansas City. Kansas City is rolling right now. I wouldn't want to play Kansas City right now. Kansas City is gaining their confidence. You're gaining their confidence. And I wouldn't want to play Kansas City right now in Kansas City, which is the road to the championship goes through, and I hate to say it. It burns me to say it. The road to the Super Bowl either goes through Foxborough or goes through right down the road for me in Kansas City. So hopefully Kansas City get it together, because I'm just assuming I'm just assuming that the Ravens are not going to make the playoffs. And even if they did make the playoffs, they wouldn't be major players in these big dog conversations. So yes, the road to the Super Bowl goes through Kansas City. And so the last guy on the list, it burns me to say, his numbers wasn't much of nothing that I'm probably not even going to put him on the screen. They're 7 for 13, 61 yards. I can't remember how much he rushed for, but he didn't rush for very many yards. Sam Darnold played most of this game. I think signing Cam Newton was a ploy to sell tickets. I think it was a ploy to sell tickets and to make people forget how awful Sam Darnold was. Because it just doesn't look good. I think they shouldn't. I didn't say this in the I think I made a post about it on Instagram. If you're not following my Instagram, links in the description. They shouldn't have brought Cam. They shouldn't have brought Cam back. I'll be the first to admit. They should have just let Cam stay on his couch. If you wasn't gonna give Cam the offense and let him make mistakes, there was no point. Didn't know the playbook for real. And I'm gonna get slapped for this. They're gonna call me a Cam defender, but I don't care. Didn't know the playbook for real. Got there in the middle of the season. I think they should have just left Cam at home and just tanked. They should have tanked. If you're going to do this to Cam, there's no reason to do it for Cam, but I feel like it was a ploy to sell tickets. I'm kind of disappointed in Cam. One, he should play better. And for two, he doesn't know the playbook. And for three, Matt Rule keeps bringing him in and out. If you knew this was going to be a rebuild and you knew this was going to take a minute, why even bring Cam in to win games? So I would like to see Cam get a full training camp, a full offseason, and a full starting so he can go on his farewell tour. But this might be it. I hate to admit it, but this might be it for Cam. I would love to see Cam finish out his career in Carolina holding the Super Bowl trophy up, but that's just not how it's going to be. I would love to see him make the playoffs at least, but I don't have his numbers here. But it's been an okay return. He can still run the ball. Sometimes it looks like he's struggling to pass hard, but everybody knows I'm the biggest Cam fan, but I have to call it how I call it. So yeah, let me know your interpretation of Cam. You think Cam's done? You think Cam just needs the right situation? What do you think? Let me know. This is Keys for Black Quarterback Series for another good week. I said week 15 at the beginning. I meant week 16. I think I said week 15 last week. But this is week 16. We got 2 more left to go in the NFL's biggest season ever. So y'all stay warm. Be warm if y'all warm already. And I catch y'all probably later. See y'all later. Peace.